Mississauga is one of the cities in the Greater Toronto Area that really a lot of people move to, and there are many reasons why. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons of living in Mississauga, and we're going to get into that right now. Hello, everybody. My name is Nasira Jamal. I'm a local realtor right here in the Greater Toronto Area. If you are new to this channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living, working, sleeping, eating, playing, and even figuring out which of the cities in the Greater Toronto Area are right for you, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn your notification on so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Honestly, I get calls all the time for people that are moving into the Mississauga area, and I absolutely love it. And if you're thinking about moving or relocating into the area, then make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. You can even send a pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when you're moving into the Greater Toronto Area. So let's talk about the pros first in living in Mississauga and what you will find. It's a vibrant city. You see, it has roughly just over 700,000 people who reside here. And we have a huge, diverse community in Mississauga that really is second to none. You will find that there are people from all walks of life, people from different regions and different ethnicities, people that have different languages, cultures, religions. And so really, when people are moving into the Mississauga area, I find this is one of the things my clients love about the area is because of its diversity. And what you will also find is that because of this, you get different types of restaurants, different grocery stores. So if you're looking for different ethnic foods, spices, things like this, you'll be able to easily find them in Mississauga. Mississauga is actually the sixth largest city in Canada, and it is part of what's called Peel Region. So what you have in Peel Region is Brampton, Caledon, and Mississauga. Now, what you will find is that it's accessible to the downtown core by about 45 minutes. Depending on traffic, you do have public transit. You've got GO stations that are scattered around the Mississauga area. So if you're looking to get into downtown, one of the cons I'll tell you is that it doesn't have its own subway system. So within the city of Mississauga, you will have busing, but you won't have a subway system. But getting into downtown Toronto is actually not bad at all. You can use a car, you can use Highway 403, you can have the QEW, as well as the 401. All of it is all accessible. And you can also use public transportation to get right into the downtown core. Mississauga is also considered one of the safest cities in Canada, and this is again part of what my clients will ask me about and want to know, that if they're moving into the area, purchasing a home, settling down and really planting their roots, they want to ensure that, of course, they're in a safe area. Now, it is, a metropolitan area, I would say. There is a city center, which is the downtown. It looks like a downtown area where there is the transit system hub. There is a huge shopping center, one of the largest, called Square One. And then you've got a lot of different professional buildings in the area as well. You also have, Streetsville in Mississauga, which has its own sort of downtown area. It is an older section. Overall in Mississauga, what you'll find is there are different areas that have different flavors. So you've got Erin Mills, you've got, as I mentioned, Streetville, you've got Meadowvale Town Center, Meadowvale area, which is really Mississauga Road and Steeles, in that sort of pocket. And what I find in Mississauga, especially for a lot of my clients who have bought there, is that you have a selection of different types of homes, condominiums. In the city center, you will find sort of where the large condo buildings are. We've got the Marilyn Monroe. You've got a lot of the new buildings that are there right in the heart of town. And then around the outlying areas, you will find condominium townhomes, townhouses, freehold, semi-detached, as well as detached properties. So when I find that I'm showing properties to my clients in this area, what they love is the fact that they have a lot of choice. Now, One of the cons to this is, I'll tell you, because it's growing so quickly and Mississauga doesn't have a lot of room to expand, meaning no more land space, we're experiencing a much higher demand for housing, and so pricing is steep. It is one of the more expensive areas that you will live in. But again, because Mississauga does have different pockets, there are certain areas that you can get homes a little bit cheaper than in others. Like Streetville, in my opinion, is probably one of the more expensive areas, in Port Credit. Port Credit is really South Mississauga. There is a waterfront there. So if you're looking at properties there, you will be paying a little bit more. Accessibility is really part of all of Mississauga. You do have the transit. And so really getting to in and around the city is not bad. But again, as I mentioned, that there isn't a designated subway system right for Mississauga. Mississauga also has a very good school system. So whether it's the public school system or the private school system, you can find different education opportunities for your children, secondary schools as well as post-secondary. You will have access to it all. And really, in terms of schooling, I will put a link where you can find the ratings of the school in the different areas. If you are, looking to have a certain school for your child, then you may want to look at that site and ensure that you're within the boundaries. The other pro that I really want to talk about is Mississauga offers a lot of cultural events and opportunities of engagement with the community. This is one of, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it is a very diverse community, so you will have the ability to engage with different festivals and things like this. And the city center is the hub of it all, and you'll be able to find I'll put a website in the description where you can find the different events that are happening in and around the Mississauga area. Now, because it is so diverse, there's no shortage of restaurants. And if you're a foodie like me, you're going to absolutely love Mississauga because you're going to have so many options of different ethnic foods, different types of restaurants, large and small, and the pricing as well. Some of it is very, very affordable. And you're really going to have the options. If you really like eating out, then Mississauga is probably a really good spot for you to experience different cuisines. One of the cons I'll tell you in terms of just living in Canada in general is the weather. In Mississauga, really, you will have about, I would say, 7 to 8 months of winter. So be prepared for that when you're moving in the area. But really, you get some of the most beautiful, picturesque landscapes to look at, to photograph, and to really enjoy. One of the things I'll mention here is that though we have long winters, we also have beautiful summers, and you will get, 3 to 4 months of just amazing temperatures, really pleasant weather, not too much rainfall, although we do get some March and April. Sometimes into May, you will get some more rainfall. But overall, we do have beautiful summer months. June, July, and August are our best months to enjoy the warmer climate and really do some of the outdoor activities that you'll just love doing because it is nice weather. So if you're thinking that you really like the idea of having, hills and mountains and things like that to look at when you come outside, well, I've got some bad news for you. Mississauga doesn't have it. It is absolutely flat. There is no hills in the area. And if you do want to be around that, or you just want to go see, you'll be traveling in the different directions away from Mississauga to be able to experience that. We have lots of beautiful hills up in the north section. However, Mississauga is definitely extremely flat. One of the nice things about Mississauga I'll share with you is that it has the Credit River that runs right through it. So, for a lot of people, especially in the summer, they will look at going to the Credit River where it is outlined with parks and there's walking trails and picnic areas. It is a really nice thing to have right in the middle of the city because you can enjoy some of the nature aspects and you don't have to go out too far to be able to access it. So one of the cons that I want to share with you here is the cost of living. Now, it is expensive. I mentioned it earlier in the video, but I want to talk about the pricing for housing so that you have an idea of what to expect when you get here. So overall, you're going to find, like I said, in city center, you will find a lot of the condos. There are some condos South Mississauga that are older that you will see pricing, in the 200,000s. But I want to just caution you here, if the price is lower, it's because there's some issues there. The status certificates tends to be in those areas very, very scary. And I mean, that's just being honest. But really, some of those areas have structural issues. That's why you find the condo prices lower. And you'll find that banks will not give mortgages for these. Typically, you will have to buy cash, and the condo fees are much, much higher. But let's talk about the overall properties in the areas of city center, the condominiums. You're probably going to be looking at $450,000 plus, depending on the size of the unit, number of bedrooms, and the condo fees. What you want to note here, if you're buying a condominium, is if the price of the condo is high or higher, then you will notice that the maintenance fees is lower. And if the maintenance fees is really much higher, then the price of the condo is lower. It's just part of how you look at the condominiums, and you probably will not find that you'll get both. The other thing you want to just kind of note here is in terms of buying a condo townhouse or a common element townhouse, a parcel of tied land, a townhome, you are going to be paying monthly fees. And what you'll find the pricing here is roughly 550 plus. If you're looking at semi-detached, you're up in the 650 range and higher, depending if it's renovated and the size. And then detached homes are well over 800,000, again, in the different areas. And this is where, if you want to figure out where affordability is best and you've got schooling and all of those things, you can absolutely reach out and get some searches set up that I can do for you that will give you the different options that are available. However, what you do want to note is the detached homes with some square footage are going to run you over $1 million. So one of the other cons that I want to point out or highlight here is if you come into Mississauga, you're going to find it really crowded. There's a lot of houses, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of cars. So, in terms of a busy city, it is one of the busier cities, part of, like, when you talk about metropolitan, it is a large city having more than 700,000 residents and growing. This is something that you will notice that it is extremely busy. So overall in Mississauga, you've got, some pros and cons, but depending on why you're choosing Mississauga, it's a great place to live. If you're raising a family, you're looking at, having access to some of the other cities in the area, Toronto being one. If you're looking at Vaughan, Brampton, going to the east, Oakville, Burlington, Milton, everything is accessible within about an hour. Between 30 minutes to an hour, you'll be able to access any of the other cities. And, you will need a car if you're getting around. You do have the GO trains, GO buses, but overall, you will need a vehicle. And that's something that in any of the really GTA areas in the cities that you're choosing, a car is almost mandatory. So if you're considering Mississauga as one of your areas that you want to consider for living in, if you want to check out properties, you got to give me a call. Send me a text, shoot me an email, or heck, you can even send a pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when you're looking to move into the Mississauga area. Until the next video, I'll catch you later.